The world is watching another potential flashpoint. Military assets amass, rhetoric heats up. The drums of a conflict with Venezuela beat louder. The assumption, as always, is that overwhelming American air power can deliver a swift, decisive victory. But what if that assumption is a dangerous and proven illusion? Welcome to the global arena. Today, we're dissecting a critical geopolitical question. Can the U.S. achieve its objectives in Venezuela through air power alone? A historical review reveals a sobering truth that policymakers ignore at their peril. Let's be clear, this isn't a theoretical debate. We have a 25-year playbook of what happens when air power is tasked with achieving strategic political goals. The results are consistently grim. Kosovo, 1999. The plan was for a short, sharp campaign. The reality? 77 days of intense bombing, 10 times longer than initial estimates. The objective was only secured when the threat of a NATO ground invasion became real. Afghanistan, 2001. Precision airstrikes softened the Taliban, but toppling them required embedding U.S. Special Forces with Northern Alliance ground troops. The air campaign was a force multiplier, not the main effort. Iraq, 2003. Shock and awe was a television spectacle, but it failed to prevent a decade-long bloody ground occupation. The regime fell only when troops entered Baghdad. Libya, 2011, often hailed as an air power success. The NATO no-fly zone helped topple Gaddafi. But the result was a failed state and over a decade of civil war. Is that the model for Venezuela? The ISIS campaign. It took a relentless 7-year air campaign across 3 U.S. administrations, combined with local proxy forces on the ground, to dismantle the caliphate. It was a grueling marathon. The pattern is undeniable. Air power destroys. It does not build, govern, or secure. So let's apply this history to Venezuela. Why would the outcome be any different? Proponents of a strike often make 2 fatal assumptions that history proves false. First, the popular uprising myth. The idea is that bombing will spark the Venezuelan people to overthrow Maduro. This is a fantasy. Authoritarian regimes are engineered for survival. They control information, suppress dissent, and use nationalist rhetoric to rally the population against an external aggressor. Bombs don't trigger revolutions. They often strengthen the regime's narrative. Second, the elite coup myth. The theory goes that pressure will force the military to turn on Maduro. In reality, external attacks force the regime's power brokers to circle the wagons. Their survival becomes tied to the regime's survival against a common enemy. Bombing consolidates power. It doesn't shatter it. The modern air power, for all its precision, is not a strategic solution. It's a tactical tool that requires 3 essential ingredients to have any chance of long-term success. None of these exist in Venezuela. Ingredient 1. Substantial allied ground forces. Who is the Northern Alliance in Venezuela? There is no cohesive, capable, and legitimate opposition army ready to march on Caracas and hold territory after U.S. bombs clear the way. Without this, you create a power vacuum, not a transition. Ingredient 2, a clear political endgame. What happens the day after the bombs stop falling? Who takes power? How is stability ensured? There is no consensus, no clear plan for the monumental task of rebuilding a shattered nation. Destruction is easy, construction is the hard part. Ingredient 3, years of sustained commitment. Is the American public, or its leadership, prepared for another multi-year open-ended commitment? The historical precedents suggest anything less is futile. This would not be a surgical strike. It would be the first step into a quagmire. This brings us to the fundamental contradiction. There is a clear political aversion in the United States to forever wars. The entire narrative has shifted away from nation-building. Yet, the projection of offshore force against Venezuela risks the ultimate entanglement. A conflict with no clear victory condition, no reliable local partner, and no easy exit. It is a recipe for the very kind of protracted engagement the nation seeks to avoid. The lesson from the past quarter century is not that air power is useless. It is that it is not omnipotent. The path to resolving the crisis in Venezuela lies in the difficult, unglamorous work of diplomacy, economic pressure, and international coalition building, not in the seductive, but ultimately hollow mirage of air power. What do you think? Is air power a viable solution, or are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? Let us know in the comments. If you found this analysis valuable, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for our next geopolitical deep dive. Thanks for watching.